With that said, it is that time of the week. It is that time of the podcast, I guess. Our keys to victory. Nick, you kind of mentioned yours. I'll let you continue there. Your key to victory, Colts versus Steelers.
I'm just gonna say it. Run the football. Just give it to Najee Harris, Jalen Warren. I don't care what you do in the passing game. As a matter of fact, make sure Mitch Trubisky can't throw a single turnover. Make sure he doesn't lose a single fumble.
That's possible. I don't know. I don't know how you prevent that.
I may be asking for a bit too much here, but it's like, if you want to win this game, I mean, the other teams have laid the blueprint for you. I mean, the Colts are very vulnerable. They don't have the linebackers to be able to hold up. Like this is a team that can get absolutely gashed on the ground. And not just that, they struggle taking on receiving backs as well. Get Jalen Warren out in space. Maybe you have some pony personnel between the two backs, and just let them go to work. I just let your best players cook. That's how I feel. That's the key to success.
Key to success. They did run pony personnel back-to-back plays last week, and they lost. So take that as you will. Steven, your key to victory here for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's it's very specific, but I think they need to start fast. I really think they need to score a touchdown on their opening possession. I don't think this team is going to win playing from behind. I mean, I think that's pretty clear at this point, but it's even more true with Mitch Trubisky in at quarterback instead of Kenny Pickett. And especially if our plan is to run the ball, I don't like that scenario if you can't keep the Colts off the scoreboard early. This is also kind of on the defense to kind of keep them in the game early, but I think scoring a touchdown in the opening possession would not only give this team a shot of confidence that it really needs really badly, but also, keep them from having to play from behind and keep them from having to put this game in Mitch Trubisky's hands. So I think my key to victory, it's on the first possession. Let's score a lot of points, and let's score them quickly on that first drive.
Yeah, I like that. Mine's going to be on the other side of the football here, and it's going to target really two position groups, and that is, you don't have to technically call him an inside linebacker. You don't have to do whatever you want to do. You run three outside linebackers almost at all times, and just limit your struggles at inside linebacker. If Landon Roberts can go the entire game, great. But chances are he can. He's dealing with a groin injury. He's 30 years old. You need this guy to be somewhat healthy for the rest of the season, so you can't just destroy him in week 15. That being said, you can't rely on Michael Walker. It really takes something. It really, really takes some effort to be the worst player on the field for the worst two performances that your team put out there against 2-10 football teams. The Steelers lost to 2-10 football teams in back-to-back weeks. The worst player in that 2-week span was Michael Walker. And that says a lot about, we watched Mitch Trubisky play some football, and Michael Walker was still worse. I think they're not going to put Nick Herbig at inside linebacker. They're just not going to do it. But if you could find different ways to manipulate your personnel and to have guys out there that are not technically inside linebackers, but that are filling that need, I think you somehow find a way to do that. If it means running three outside linebackers as much as possible and dropping TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith or Nick Herbig into coverage, cool, fine. I don't care how you do it. Just don't put Michael Walker on the field for a huge chunk of this game. Don't put Blake Martinez on the field for a huge chunk of this game. Don't put Mark Robinson in at all. Just, do what you can at inside linebacker. But man, dude, that position is just, it has sunk so fast, and it is seemingly getting worse, and you have to try to avoid it at all costs. You have to try to avoid it. With that said, go ahead, Nick.
I was going to add real quick, the whole thing with Michael Walker is they are asking him to do stuff that is just ridiculous. Like, they had him covering one-on-one versus Trey McBride on like an island during that Cardinals game, and I was just like, you can't have your linebackers in this situation. Like, what did we learn from years ago when Keith Butler was putting like Bostic and Mark Barrett in these situations? Like, you have to keep your players from being in that type of situation, especially when you're down to like your linebacker 4. Like, they can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just, it drives me insane.
Their inside linebacker, what they ask him to do over forever, has never changed, and it's always been terrible. And I think that's why you limit it as much as possible. Well, so with that said, our predictions, we have been wrong last 2 weeks. There's a part of my brain going, pick the Colts. We'll see what happens when we get to me. Steven, let's start with you. Your prediction, Week 15, Pittsburgh Steelers, Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, you mentioned that kind of inclination to pick the Colts, and I'm following with it. Look, the vibes are real bad. Like, I don't know what you hang on to, and I don't know what you look at this team and think, okay, they can walk into a road venue and they can be really confident that this part of their game is going to show up. I don't know what that is. Like, the season has been so up and down at points. They've been bad against the run at certain points. They've been really bad against the pass for most of the season. The offense is well documented how poor that's been, and Mitch Trubisky starting at quarterback doesn't make that any better. I think they're able to score a little bit. I think they put up a couple points, but I think the Colts just kind of bleed them out and just grind this game down. They add a score late that makes it look like a little bit more of a decisive win, but I'm going to go Colts 22-14.
22-14. For one, that is a lot of points for the Pittsburgh Steelers score, but they did score 18 last week. And Mike Tomlin pointed out that, man, dude, they score 3 more. They're in that ball game, man.
It's true.
They are in that ball game.
Wow. The difference between 21 and 18 is 3 points. I can't argue
3 points,
with that.
And shout out Mike Tomlin. Nick, your prediction for this? You following the Indy train here?
I really I want to be right here and just be like, yeah, like, because I'm gonna be real. I want this team to lose right now. I'm getting to the point. I am getting to the point where I just want them to feel pressed, because I don't think this is a team that is going to. They'll be like, oh yay, we made playoffs. Like, that's a successful season, right? No, it wasn't, because everyone knew you were gonna lose in the first round. Like, I don't want to go through that. So I'm just gonna say the Colts win 20-17. It's close because it's Pittsburgh, unless you're a 2-win team.
Yeah, it's true. Unless you're a 2-win team, it's true. It's very true. You got a score here? What did you give a score?
20-17.
20-17. Sorry, I caught on to the 2-win team here. My brain's still it's still fighting an internal battle with itself as I try to come up with a score here. I think we have to now. I think, like, my brain was like, all right, don't be the guy. Don't finish the sweep. Maybe Nick will pick the Steelers. Then he could go Colts. Everything will be fine. Then it went, all right, now we got to finish the sweep. Now it's got to happen. I think for the first time all season, first time maybe in all Steelers talk history here, we are all picking against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have no confidence that this comes back. I just keep pointing to, everybody says, like, everybody's been telling me all week, like, oh, this is a game the Steelers win. This is a game the Steelers win. This is a game the Steelers win. I just remember looking back, okay? And I remember sitting in the press box all year long as the Pittsburgh Steelers went 11-0. The year Ben returns from elbow surgery. 11-0. Things are looking great. And then they finished the season, I believe it was 12-4, maybe 12-5. They've the second worst playoff performance I've ever seen in my life. The first one was against Kansas City. The second one was against Cleveland the year before. I think that's where I stand. That's enough argument for me to say this is not a game the Pittsburgh Steelers win. I think this is the beginning of things getting much, much worse for this organization. And that's just because everything we talked about today points to one thing, and that's that they continue to shoot themselves in the foot, and they've shot themselves in the foot enough times that things aren't going to get better anytime soon. I'm going Colts 24, Steelers 14. I don't feel good about it. I think it's a rough one, and I think afterwards people are very upset in that locker room. And then, we'll see what happens from there. But I'm saying 24-14. Mark Caboli gets on us every single week because we picked the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to make sure that I give him a shout out in this one and say, hey, look, at this time I picked the Colts, and when the Steelers win, I'm blaming you and me. So I'll take the credit. We'll all take the credit.